Cannonball. I'm Sam.
This cast looks very familiar to me. I'm gonna have some questions. I'm Jackie.
The movie that gave us Ralph Nader. I'm Justin, and this is Cannonball on Stinker Madness. Hello, welcome to Stinker Madness. I'm Justin, that's Jackie, that's Sam. That means you're listening to a podcast about bad movies by bad movie lovers for bad movie lovers. This week on the show, currently streaming on Tubi TV and possibly some other with ads streaming services, is 1976 Cannonball. Not Cannonball Run, Cannonball, starring David Carradine. Dick Miller's in there. We got a smattering of Sylvester Stallone, directed by
Paul Bartel from last week.
Paul Bartel.
Or from 2 weeks ago, and before we got the break there.
Yeah, and produced by Roger Corman. Sam, have at it.
So Cannonball, the race, they did the movie backwards. They went from Santa Monica to New York, whereas it's from a bakery in New York to Redondo Beach is what you're supposed to do. It was originally the brainchild of Brock Yates, and it wasn't to see how fast Brock Yates could do it. They didn't do it as a race the first time. The first Cannonball was Brock Yates, his son, and their friend Jason Williams, and the other editor at Car and Driver was part of the conception. It was meant to protest the 55 mile per hour speed limit as a method of consuming less gas. Weird that there's been gas crises this whole time and nothing has ever been done to not make more gas crises. Just bad decisions like making people drive slower. That'll do it. That'll save a gallon or two a year, maybe. Or just more speeding tickets, probably.
That's what it's about, Sam. It's the speeding tickets. Everybody loves a speeding ticket, right? America! Woo! We run on Dunkin' and speeding tickets.
Car companies don't do anything. They only release SUVs. Like current gas cars get shittier mileage than they got in the 90s. That, what?
And they also go like way faster than you could possibly ever go. Like if you buy an Econo box now, it goes as fast as any of the cars in this movie. Probably faster. Like if you were to buy a new Honda Civic, the base model, you're going to get worse gas mileage than a 76 Corvette and go 3 times the speed it can go.
I don't know, but like in the 90s, cars got like 35 miles to the gallon and did $1.20, right? They made better cars 30 years ago. And they were fuel efficient, but whatever. Then they decided to turn it into a race. And the second one, Dan Gurney, the guy who won 24 hours, the American that won 24 hours of Le Mans at one point, and Brock Yates did it in a Ferrari 365 GTB4 Daytona in 35 hours and 54 minutes, which would get later broken by a minute until
the Jaguar
SJS did it in 32 hours.
SJS, you ignorant son of a bitch.
I thought you had one.
I did. It's a V12. I think it held the record for what, year? 2 years?
No, it's
before
the official
348.
Because there's like every record since is unofficial, right? The official, the last official was 1979, and they did it in 32 hours. They shaved 2 hours, 32 hours and 51 minutes. They shaved 2 hours off of what was the fastest time.
So
it's
the
a very comfortable car.
So the cocaine was just getting more better, easier to find.
Yeah,
it's more comfortable. Is probably why, because it's not as fast as the Ferrari. That's just but
very comfy.
Apparently, in Brock Yates said, because he was writing the article about it in Car and Driver, at no point did they ever exceed 175 miles an hour.
That's 174, yeah, but not 175.
No, they got to 175. They just didn't push it any harder than that.
Yeah, that's but it's fast.
Where they were at is they were averaging just over 80. When you time and distance, they averaged a little over 80 miles an hour the whole way, whereas that XJS averaged 87 miles an hour, which is that's a clip to average that, because you got to slow down for towns and shit. Like, averaging 87 from New York to Redondo Beach is pretty fucking fast.
Yeah, you're hauling some buns. And I'm sure that they kind of dabble into that in this movie, Jackie, about the drugs. I mean, you got to be on something, right?
No.
Well, yeah, I think that Speedball Trucker is a song about going across the United States by Jim Croce.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably part of the Cannonball Run, right? Because you have to stay up for the whole 36 hours. You're not going to take a nap in the middle of it.
No, you switch drivers halfway through.
I guess
that's what Dave Gurney and Dan Gurney and Brock Yates did, and they sort of established that pattern. And the first time they did it, they didn't stop either in the van. It was the Moon Trash 2. It was the Dodge conversion van with a bunch of sponsorship stickers all over it, and they switched drivers 3 times, and they never stopped.
It's what do you mean they never stopped? They just did the old flip over while they're going 85 miles an hour. You sit on my lap and I'll scoot out from underneath you.
It's really fucking stupid. No, they stopped and changed drivers, but they didn't take naps or anything.
You said they never stopped.
They might have done it, because I did it once, and the conversion van has just enough room that one person goes low and one person goes high, and you kind of hop over the top of each other, and then there's already enough play in a Dodge steering wheel that even if you nudge it, it's not going to really move the car a whole lot while you're going 70. I wouldn't recommend it.
Is that the parking brake, or are you just happy to see me? Hey-oh.
The parking brake was a crank under the dash on that Dodge, so you wouldn't be able to.
Well, don't have fun with the idea of swapping seats, Sam. By all means, don't run with, boners or anything like that. This is not that kind of podcast.
It's not a man-to-man boner. It's a fear boner because we're going 70.
Why do you think David Carradine always had female co-pilots in all these movies?
He doesn't have fear boners.
Yeah. He's like, is that a belt around my neck, or you just, well...
That wasn't much that guy was afraid of.
Oh, nope, that's my belt. Sorry. I guess that doesn't work when you're choking yourself.
So, Paul Bartel made this pretty much right after Deathrace. It took a year to make Deathrace, and Deathrace didn't cost very much, and it made a lot of money. And Corman said if it wouldn't have been so outlandish and it would have been more real, people would have liked it more. And Paul Bartel's like, I don't think you fucking know what you're talking about, but here's the deal, Roger. You only paid me $5,000 for that, and it took me all year. I made $5,000 last year. I'm fucking broke, so what do you want me to do? And he's like, do it again, just make it more real. And he's like, fucking whatever, I don't care. As long as you're paying me more, that's fine. And I have an honest living for a while. So he makes this. This does okay. This cost $780,000, which is kind of a lot.
For a Corman movie.
I think a lot of that cost is the crashes, which I think is just tipping their cap to H.B. Halicki and Gone in 60 Seconds, which happened a few years before this, that has a lot of car crashes.
So wait, can we pause for just a second? Because you mentioned Deathrace, and that's the one I think that I saw where he's Frankenstein.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the movie before this, Jackie. That's what Sam was just
saying.
Right.
So, but was it just me, or were all the same people in this movie too?
Pretty much all the same people except Bill McKinney, that's in a lot of Clint Eastwood movies, is the bad guy in this one. He wasn't in Deathrace. You've got what's her name? His best friend, the
Zippo.
No, that's not Paul Bartel's best friend. Let me specify. The gal that was in Deathrace that was a Warhol girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
she's the van lady in this one, right?
Mary Warrenoff.
Yeah, and then also Stallone's co-pilot was the affair lady in this.
Yeah.
And obviously Stallone was in this.
Yeah, well, I'll just do the cameos right now. Joe Dante, Eleanor Cush, Jonathan Kaplan, Roger Corman, Don Simpson, Martin Scorsese, and Sylvester Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And Don Simpson had a hand in writing this too, didn't he? The Don Simpson.
Don Simpson.
Goddamn, The Rock, Don Simpson. Beverly Hills Cop.
Don Simpson was dead when The Rock happened, wasn't he?
It was still a Simpson Bruckner.
Okay, maybe he was.
No, he wasn't. No.
You're not yet?
No, I don't
No, it was
so.
like 2004, right?
The Rock?
No, that's when Don Simpson died.
Yeah, The Rock was like 95.
We were in high school when The Rock came out. Yeah. I remember going, that movie was, actually that year, because it was Independence Day, The Rock, and Eraser. Mm-hmm. All came out. That was like a huge summer blockbuster. And I remember thinking Eraser was good, and I watched it again. I was like, this is a turd.
Yep.
This whole time,
Don Simpson.
I thought we were talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, not that Rock. The Rock with Nick Cage.
Yeah, I caught on.
That's who you are, man. You're the Rocket Man.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Zing. You've never seen The Rock? No.
I think you have, because we revisit it for a streaming do's and don'ts?
I haven't watched The Rock in eons.
I thought we did an episode. Well, we should probably do an episode on that.
I just don't see how that's possible that you haven't seen The Rock, man. That movie was huge.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, and that's why I was confused, and I thought we were talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm like, The Rock was a thing when this guy we were talking about was still alive.
God damn it, Nicolas Cage, we're gonna have to break into The Rock. Ed Harris is like, America screwed me over.
Yeah.
And Michael Bay's like, explosion.
Ed Harris is like, I think I inadvertently spawned the neoconservative movement.
Right. This is MAGA? Are we MAGA?
Oops.
Launch those rockets.
Oh, anyway, so after this, because Paul Bartel was apparently right that no one would like it. I mean, they did okay. And probably just because this whole theme of being pissed off about having to drive slow was, people were behind stuff like this. But, $1.5 million isn't that great for this. So eventually Paul Bartel would be able to, he financed eating Raoul on his own for $230,000 to get out of Corman's house, basically. And that thing made $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
like Paul Bartel.
I've also never heard of that movie.
Yeah, that's fine, honey. That's not a what?
Yeah.
No, I like Paul Bartel. He's awesome in Deathrace, obviously, and then he's awesome in Hollywood Boulevard, one of my favorites. That he's the main in. He's the movie producer. Like, he's the same guy in every movie.
He's awesome in this. Playing piano while Dick Miller's getting the shit beat out of him.
Right.
And like his song is like telling him how to beat the shit out of Dick Miller too. It's just fucking great.
Kick him in the balls. Yeah. Punch him in the face.
This was interesting because Robert Carradine got in on the action too, from Revenge of the Nerds. And what's weird is that Robert Carradine actually was doing those low formula races. He won an alarmingly high percentage of his races before he decided to just concentrate on acting.
Mm-hmm.
But
see, and I asked Justin who that guy was. I was like, that guy looks really familiar, Revenge of the Nerds guy. And I was like, Justin, I know that guy's been in other things. What has he been in? Justin's like, I don't know. I don't know who that fucker guy is.
That's not true. I said that's Dick Miller because that's who I thought you were talking about.
No, I was talking about the Revenge of the Nerds guy in the Corvette. Like, I recognized him, but I just could not put that together.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Robert.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was the same guy.
Yeah. That's the youngest of the Carradine three. And even though, so Keith and Robert are brothers, but David is a half brother because he had a different mom.
Right.
Also, David Carradine doesn't really know Kung Fu.
No.
He's a dancer. And it translated directly.
Whoa, yeah.
I guess, because I looked at the karate in this and I was like,
yeah, it's not great.
Is this from Oklahoma? What are we doing here? This is dancing.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean,
he would have kicked no one. He was so slow. He's like, all right, and now run into my foot, please. And
that's most of David Carradine is run into my foot or my fist.
Yeah. He didn't even throw a punch for like the first 4 fights, and I wrote down kicking only several times because like, that's not going to work. You can't only kick. That's ridiculous. And then
kick and stretch and kick and stretch.
His girlfriend, the co-pilot, sort of is, she's not famous yet, but she will be because she was nominated like however many times she was one of the principals in Hill Street Blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
She reminds me of a not busty Linda Carter.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, oh, it's not Linda Carter.
Speaking of which, today is Linda Carter's birthday.
Happy birthday, Linda Carter.
And happy birthday to the twins.
Yeah, she's 74. Have you seen the twins lately?
I'm sure they're still great.
They're still great. She's 74, and it's like, what the hell, lady?
It's, like...
Maybe work, but wow.
A Ferrari's always going to be a Ferrari.
Yeah,
right?
No shit, huh?
Just kind of get better as they get older.
Yeah. Not us.
I am aging like mayonnaise in the sun.
I guess we might all be Chryslers.
I was going to say, I'm a Pontiac, okay? This is,
yeah, right.
They have discontinued this model, and there are no extra parts out there.
Yeah.
She also had like I don't know if Paul Bartel was like, all right, don't talk normal throughout this entire movie. You have to talk like sexy because every line, you can't win this race. It's just too dangerous. You can't go. Like she doesn't. It's just whispering the whole time.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm your parole officer. Like, lady.
She could have just been doing that, right? Like, because she'd been the hot...
She could have been on Ludes, too.
The hot one in an episode of all these 70s crime shows up until this, and then in 81 or 82 or whatever it was, that's when Hill Street Blues came out, so...
These cops are rough on the street today. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that works in Dynasty. I don't know if it works in Hill Street Blues.
Nothing
Today's
works
letters.
in Dynasty.
Dynasty was just a lewd show.
It was lewd. All right. What else we got? I got one for you. Gumball Rally. Which came first, this movie or Gumball Rally? The movie. Because they're both 76.
I don't know. But they're both
so
after
who did it first?
Deathrace did it first?
Well, I know, but Deathrace 2000 isn't like a... I mean, it is a Transamerica race, but you get points for running people over.
I think Deathrace
This is just who gets there first.
Yeah, but Deathrace is an expansion of the idea of protesting that this bullshit is going to be such bullshit that America's going to tear itself apart, and that this thing is going to be like how they determine the president. So Deathrace is really... I'm counting Deathrace.
You would put Deathrace as ground zero for the Cannonball Run movie.
Yes.
Like, because that's where this is all going.
Yeah,
is Cannonball Run, the most successful of all of them. Okay, all right. Deathrace did it first. How about that? Should probably stop calling it Deathrace because that movie sucks. It's Deathrace 2000. That movie rules.
Yes.
Yeah. Who was the guy in Deathrace? Well, didn't he become somebody?
The first Deathrace?
Like shitty Joel Edgerton.
Wasn't it Statham that was? I never saw any of those.
Wait, was it Statham? It was Statham that was in the first Deathrace. You're right. Yeah, that movie sucks.
I didn't watch any of those.
No, they blow. They blow. So, okay, let's get this going, I guess, guys. Actually, no, let's not. Jackie, who is, well, I would say costume talk, but male or female, who is the most attractive person in this movie?
Oh, God. Co-pilot lady.
Okay. Linda. Her name was actually Linda.
Yeah, followed closely by the bulge in David Carradine's pants, where he pushed all of his junk to the right, like his balls, his wiener, everything, and then just kind of crammed them in.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see every little curve and nut job that this man had. You could see 2 nuts and a wiener tip in almost every shot he was in.
That's where the asphyxiation came from, was that his pants were so tight all the time. He was like, the only way I can make this work is if I'm also like, you know? Anyone remember that he died from jerking off with the belt around his neck? Anybody? Okay. I just want to remind everybody, because it doesn't seem like it's very funny. And I think it's very funny. You know, it's the one time that somebody died when it's like, you stupid bastard. Are you kidding me? Darwin? Hello?
But the guy from NXS went the exact same way.
Allegedly. There's conspiracy there, Sam. Was it a hit job? Did the record company get involved? Where was the Italian mob in this whole thing? There's questions about Michael Hutchins.
Maybe a cat jumped out of and scared him, and then he slipped and then hung himself or something. It's the cat that's to blame. I wasn't prepared for that.
He was changing a light bulb, and the light bulb was stuck, so he used his belt to loosen it up, like a custom-sized wrench, and then it just ended up around his neck. It's all an accident.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Things happen. Okay. All right. So this movie starts out with, God, why is it always a Trans Am? I never get to say bitch and Camaro.
I know.
I never get to say bitch and Camaro. It's always a Trans Am in these movies.
Because of Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, this is before Smokey.
I thought they were the same year. 76?
I thought 78 was Smokey and the Bandit.
Damn it. Maybe it was 74.
Well, either way, I
mean,
loved this car. I liked the coloring on this car. I liked the blue, yellow, and orange on this car. I thought it looked bitchin', and I was like, maybe I could do that to my car.
Isn't this your favorite genre of Camaro / Trans Am, Sam?
Yes. Actually, no. Mine is the box body, the one after this, which are hot now.
The Smokey and the Bandit?
No.
Okay.
Well, it would be a Camaro, but it's the Kit Knight Rider generation.
Yeah, okay. Right,
Gen 3 or whatever. Okay. It's actually...
Sure.
Yeah. There's like a Gen 1.5, because remember they did the round headlights on this body for like 1 year in between the first one and this generation. That's really hard to find car.
This has got the big nose, the big flared nostrils, whereas the Smokey and the Bandit's a lot more wedge shaped.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thought for you, Sam. Speaking of Kit, I was out shopping this weekend, and I was talking to my mom about the golf cart club in my neighborhood and how I need to be part of this golf club cart thing, right? So I decided I am going to buy a $3,000 golf cart, right? And then I'm going to bedazzle it, and I'm going to put a Kit front on the front of it with a little laser thing, that the Kit scanner. And then I'm just going to blast the Knight Rider theme music everywhere I go.
Lame.
Super lame.
And then pass out.
It would be completely obnoxious. You're right.
But then I don't know.
I think it would be more fun if you did like something with the like A-team. Horns and then Eastbound and Down at full volume.
That would be cool.
The Gator Mobile.
All right, so our boy Coy from Squirrel Girl? Weird. So anyways, David Carradine plays a guy named Coy. He's a race car driver.
Coy was a race car driver, 35 years old.
And he's getting pitched. He's driving down the road in what seems to be the Cannonball Run to be like, hey, I just happened to be in the backseat of your car, and I like the way you handle your ride. How about you come race for us, hot dog? And he's like, wow! And then he gets shot in the face.
Yeah. But it's all just a dream. And I'm like, and don't crash don't crash that Firebird. That thing's bitching. It crashed the piss out of it.
Why is Linda blindfolded in this dream sequence? What was the representation of that?
Because she doesn't.
Maybe she was representing his neck.
Oh no!
See, I was gonna get there. I was gonna get there. You just had to wait for it.
What do you got, Jackie? What's your theory?
She didn't understand the truth, so there was no sour lemon in her mouth to wake her back up.
I'm afraid I don't get that one.
So when you're masturbating and you're trying to asphyxiate yourself with a belt, you're supposed to have a lemon in your mouth. So that way, when you get close to passing out and you bite down, the citrus will wake you back up and revive you.
Who told you this?
It's on the internet, jackass.
Why are you looking that up?
It was part of an interview story about the NXS guy and how he had lemons next to his body. And he didn't put the lemon in his mouth. He had it in his hand.
And that's where the foul play is suspected?
According to Justin, it's conspiracy. I just think the guy was fucking lazy and was breathing too hard and took it out of his mouth. And then didn't put it back in. And so when the choking started, he didn't have anything to bite down on, so he didn't get revived.
He probably just got all fucked up and did everything wrong. Where he's like, okay, I got the lemons. Like, I'm choking myself. Oh, crap, I forgot to even grab my dick.
So if everything goes right, according to plan, you don't make an O face, you make a Renee Zellweger face?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't. Whatever, guys. If that's what it takes for you. Okay. So, anyways, it's not real. It's a dream. And he wakes up, and he looks at the lady next to his bed, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then he goes out to the garage, and he finds this mechanic in there cranking on this Trans Am, and he's like, "What are you doing at 4 a.m. cranking on this mechanic?" He's like, or this car. He's gonna be like, "This car's awesome. You're gonna win all the gumballs and get out of here." Okay.
Yeah, but
cool.
then we have this other weird 2 sequences that happen at the same time.
Absolutely.
In this opening, where we see 2 guys and they've got dynamite or something that they're sticking on the
Dick Miller
on the bottom of somebody's car. We don't even see the car, right? We
looks
just
like
see...
the same car.
It looks like the same car.
Yeah, so to me, it looks like they're in the garage with these 2 that are farting off at each other, and then they're on the other side of the car going, "Yeah, we put the explosive. If he goes over 160, it's going to blow up his car."
And then they don't hear that, and they're like, "Excuse me while I put this explosives on. Could you move out of the way?" This is where I wrote down, later on, I would draw an arrow and the words on the side in margin, "This is where the confusion begins." Because I am confused about Dick Miller. It resolves itself, but I am
sort of
fucking confused for 80% of this movie as to what the fuck is going on.
I'm right there with you. All right, so then we get cut to basically not a montage, but like just a bunch of quick scene jumps of people prepping for the cannonball. Because our first guy, he doesn't even really have a name. He's a car thief. He pretends to be a valet.
Yeah.
And goes up to this elderly couple and steals their Lincoln Continental, all Ferris Bueller.
No, he's been contracted to drop the car off in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's actually...
This is his job.
Well, that's just convenient.
Yeah, he's just taking advantage of it so he can enter the race with their Lincoln.
Oh, okay. I had him as a thief this whole time, but was I racist?
No, because I guess you were. Because he gives it back to him at the end and he goes, "You should probably check the oil." But
Hey-oh. Okay. All right. And then this lady, a bunch of ladies pile in a van. They're like Corvette summer type ladies. Like, "Oh, we're all at the ice cream shack, and we don't wear bras." And
no, that's not what's happening here. It's much worse. You've got the lady that's driving that wants to win the race has brought them along for evading any traffic violations by pimping out these 2 girls.
They're honeypots?
Yeah.
They're intentional honeypots.
Yeah, and essentially they also say something about, "I worked all summer to pay for your gas. You better fucking win."
Yeah. Wow.
So she's also like, "Hey, ass, grass, or whatever the other one is. Money. Cash. And she's like, "Cash only from you 2, but if we get into a jam, it's going to be ass."
Better not have any grass on you.
Right.
Just ass.
Ass and cash. That's all you're good for?
Yeah.
Now shut up.
I already ate all the grass.
Yeah.
And you're wearing uniform still. Get your titties out. God damn it.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. And now you will get your boobs out and shut the fuck up and sit in the back.
And then Redman is his name. He's Coy's main rival. He's got a black Dodge Charger, a la Dominic Toretto. And I don't get this whole thing. So he picks up a honky-tonk guitar guy and that honky-tonk guitar guy's mom, and they're going with him on the cannonball.
She's paying for the gas, and I guess she might have paid for some of the parts for the car or something. She set up the ride so that they can broadcast his music from the car
across the country to help him launch his country music career.
Yes. It doesn't make any sense. And later,
that doesn't make any sense.
When he first meets this guy and he's such an asshole, he says to his mom something about how crazy he is, and then he goes, probably has to jack off in the morning just to get his horse started.
And the mom's like, no, I do that for him. It's part of the ride situation that we've worked out.
How do you start a horse by jacking off?
It's like a lawnmower. You just pull really hard.
But you're jacking yourself off, and the horse is just like being a horse.
Well, that looks dumb, Buster. How about some hay? Maybe it's a metaphor for like Hirschpers. And, and, you know, the thing that causes the horsepower is the crank shaft. You know, you're cranking on your shaft. I don't know.
And it doesn't work right unless you use a restrictor plate, David Carradine.
Oh, God.
I told you, you just got to be patient.
All right. So, God, I wanted to sit there and I'm sorry, comedy. I started listing off car parts in my brain, like, what can I do? Piss ton? Like, what if I was to piss a ton? And then I'm like, wait, am I my 9-year-old son?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Okay, so sorry. Apology to the comedy gods, whoever. Pan. I'm guessing it's Pan is the comedy god. Okay,
Loki.
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, he's maybe a little.
I don't know.
Would you go see Loki in stand up? Like if he's playing the club, would you go see Loki? I'd see Pan.
No, because Loki's gonna do like this was a joke, and then he's gonna fucking stab you.
Right.
Pranks.
Right.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
prankster.
hey, look, this guy's on the end of my staff. He's a little puppet now. Nah, Pan's just got a flute and horse feet, you know?
Goat
What's he going to do? Yeah, goat feet, whatever. Pan seems like an all right guy. Okay. All right, so people start showing up for the race. And including these documentarians, they're going to film the whole thing and then release it a month afterwards. I'm bringing that up because it doesn't go anywhere, and it should, and I want to make sure I didn't miss something, so we're just going to table that for now. And also this, man, what the hell? The district attorney gets word about the race. He's like, we got to bust these guys. Put me in the race. And I'm like, dude, sweet. District attorney's going to be in this race? Nope.
And that was Don Simpson and Corman were the district attorneys.
He didn't show up.
No, they got left on the cutting room floor,
sweet.
I guess, in lieu of
Damn it.
38 minutes of car crash footage. It's just the same shit from different angles.
We get introduced to the guy in the Bronco too, with his wife and two others. He's like,
the Blazer.
I'm doing it all for you, and I'm like, you've got kitty porn on your computer.
Yeah, probably.
Like you look like a sleazy fucker that steps out on your wife constantly. Farm animals.
It's a shoe salesman, door-to-door shoe salesman.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like he's very picky. Like he'll just do anybody or anything.
Louisa, whatever her name is, she's pretty good looking, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but when you first meet him, you think this guy is a sleaze, and there's going to be some sleazy weirdness.
He's a sleaze, but he can still have some good taste because his a fair lady is
pretty hot,
quite attractive.
And way out of his league.
Yeah,
way out of his league.
And I'm sorry, but he does not have. He's driving a Ford Bronco. He doesn't have the kind of money
it's a goddamn Chevy Blazer.
God damn it!
Jesus Christ!
Well, he doesn't have the money to support Louisa in the way that she's used to being supported.
Are you kidding me? You don't know anything. In 1976, the Chevy Blazer was an American goddamn icon. Those things were expensive.
Yeah,
like $20,000 in 1976 money. They were expensive.
The ads, you go look at the ads that they would sell the Broncos, the Blazers, and the Trail Dusters. They're like on top of mountains. It's really expensive photography. The Trail Duster has a guy like falconing off the mountain with it's ridiculous stuff. Those were very expensive cars.
And today you can't get into a K5 Blazer without like, if it runs and is like, if it's nice, you're talking $40,000-$50,000.
They're hard to build because they all got built. So the ones that are left are they're just random parts that weren't good enough to refix the new ones. So like that's a market that's pretty much topped out. Like you're not going to get into one of those till somebody dies. Pretty much.
Nobody sells them, but they are starting to come around on like Barrett Jackson and stuff. And I'm talking seriously like $60,000-$70,000. Yeah. So nice try, Bronco lady. Yeah, I sure. Guess when you were growing up, like 15 years later, the mid 90s, people that were driving Chevy Blazers, they weren't nice Blazers. They were pretty road hard. So yeah.
When we were kids, that was the Rattlebox. The K5 Blazer was the one that made all of the noises down the road. Like everything on it rattled, but now they're a hot commodity. And when they were brand new, they were super expensive. They had all sorts of weird features. You could get them with a power window in the back. I mean, there was...
Yeah, I think this guy, he's a successful door-to-door salesman. Whatever he's flinging, he's good at it. Because not to mention, he leases a goddamn airplane to put his goddamn Blazer in.
A cargo
Who's
jet.
got that kind of money?
He's flush with cash.
Yeah. He's the Elon Musk of shoe sales.
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like maybe his wife doesn't see a lot of the money or whatever. She was like, here's a bottle of champagne. She's making it seem like this bottle of champagne is, and it's probably Cook's. I don't know. It looked like a bottle of Cook's. But it was like, I spent all this money, our grocery money to get you this bottle of champagne so that when you win, it can change our lives. That's kind of the way that she was coming off to me. So that's why I was thinking that he didn't have 2 dimes to rub together.
No, he only gives her 2 dimes to rub together, and he spends all the rest of it chasing tail.
This guy's a future episode of Unsolved Mysteries where it's revealed that he fleeced the government, he's wanted for fraud, tax evasion, and it turns out he had 10 families all over the country. That's who this guy is. He's loaded. Nobody sees any of it, not even the man.
And he's DB Cooper.
Yep. No, he's too fat for DB.
He's too fat to make it out of, do they have a larger parachute?
Just right out the door into the engine as if it is DB Coopering. I mean, that plane's going down because a fat man got sucked into the engine.
No, when he finally rustles the door open, he has to sit down and take a break. Oh, God. Oh, and they apprehend him.
The end of the line for you, Buster. That was quite the story. Fucking Robert Stack is like, update. They got him.
They caught the fat ass while he was taking a break. A break from 3 minutes of manual labor.
Okay, so who else? Anybody else that enters the race at this point that we care about?
Robert Carradine.
Yeah, okay, Zippo. And he's got a clone of Coy's car, the Cannonball car.
This is a dubious secret plan that his best friend has. He's like, you're going to win even if you don't win because I'm you. And he's like, what?
They do the Spider-Man clone thing.
And then he's just like, what? That's your plan? And he's like, oh yeah, see you later. And it's like, okay, whatever.
I mean, he's even got the shoes. He's got the little pink jacket thing. He's got the ascot.
Yep.
I mean, he even tells Linda later when she's driving with him, I used to look just like Carradine. I just had a different haircut.
No, you didn't.
And she looks at him like, nope.
No.
You're way too good looking to look anything like that. That old fogue.
Yeah.
Like, you're maybe 28, 29. He looks like he's like 55.
Yeah, when he was 28, 29, he looked like he was 55. Yeah, and also we should mention that Linda does come down to stop Coy. She's like, Coy, you can't race in the thing. I'm just being so sexy right now. And he's like, what? Speak up. Coy, you can't race in the goddamn thing. And he's like, look, just because you're my parole officer, what? Yeah. Coy ran over a kid or something?
No, he got his co-pilot killed in a race or some bullshit.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess maybe him and the other guy got kicked out of NASCAR for crashing too hard, which is a thing that did not happen in the 70s. No. It was like, you guys you're not going to do anything in this league. You're not crashing anybody out. What the fuck? You can't drive worth shit. Get out of this league.
Rubbin's racing.
Rubbin is racing. These guys would be on the circuit every week if that was the case. I mean, shit, now they've got people like if you look up any NASCAR news right now, there's just feuds from people crashing the piss out of each other.
So I'm going to translate for Linda and use my stage voice because that's what she needed to learn how to use. Coy, you can't get in this race because you're on parole. And if you get one speeding ticket, Buster, that judge is going to haul your ass in. And he's going to slam that door shut and you're never going to see the light of day again. And there's no belts in prison. Sometimes you can like take the towels, maybe the blankets, and kind of tie them together. Usually people do that and try to dive out the window and be like, Birdman of Alcatraz, you're...
Maybe if you have a good cellmate, he'll strangle you while you're jacking off.
You're Hung Man of San Quentin. Hey-oh! Jackie is... She doesn't like it. She's like, you don't get it. There's lemons, okay? There's a technique. You can't just tie it together, blankets. Amateurs.
You've got like a wall in your office with different maps of the human body and like push pins and yarn connecting like
laser pointer.
Lemon to the mouth, hand to the wiener, belt.
I've got a book full of diagrams, yes, Sam.
Yeah.
So that when I have to have the talk with my son, I'll be like, just read this book. Anything that's got a red label on the top, you probably shouldn't try until you're a little more advanced.
Or ever.
It's called Kane's Anatomy. Because he was Kane in Kung Fu. I can't read. If I had a tie on right now.
Yeah. And you could use it to strangle yourself while you jacked off.
But you better have
Watch out,
safety
Letterman.
limits.
Okay, all right. So then Redmond pulls up, and he's got, it appears to be old blood between him and Coy. Like, he's like, I'm going to race because you're a shithead for that thing you pulled in 72. And Coy's like, okay, fuck off, I guess. But also, I hate you. Goodbye. And Redmond sneaks behind his car and chucks something out of the trunk. And you're like, well, that's not a car part. That's not sabotage.
I couldn't tell what it was until later. He just like grabbed the jack and threw it out, which should have been under the tire. And why is your trunk open?
Right? Yeah, exactly. All right. So Bennie, Dick Miller, we learn is Coy's brother. And he's betting on Coy. And he goes to Lester's house, Paul Bartel's character's house. And I guess Paul Bartel or Lester is a loan shark or something.
He's a
of
bookie.
that nature. Okay.
And but
he doesn't bet on him. He asks for more money.
I don't know what he is then.
So he's already bet, and he wants to put another like 10 or 20K on his brother. And the bookie goes, I know you're not good for that. You're already maxed out.
I don't think bookies do loans. Loan sharks do loans.
Yeah. I don't know where this... I don't know how bookies work back then, but yeah, you gotta have it's cash right then. Yeah,
I mean,
it's just like Vegas, right? Give me the money that you want to bet. There's no credit here.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how illegal gambling works. Really, I've only bet like legally. I don't even bet you guys anything.
It seems like there's probably bookies out there because this is a recurring theme in films where guys are like really down. Yeah. It's like, how did you get the double? Like, they want to just be able to like this, like their credit. They can just send their guys out and rustle this fella for however much cash he is got on him because he's permanently in debt. So there's just like a guy that you set up to shake down weekly, I guess.
I feel like that's a whole side of crime that there's not enough attention being thrown into. Everybody likes the murder shows and like the El Chapo documentaries. But how about we learn, like, we as uneducated white people that don't have anything to do with crime because we're too weenie, need to like have some documentaries about like bookies and like leg breakers and kneecappers.
So here's the deal.
Two Knees Tony.
The reason it's not sexy and glamorous, Justin, is because they have to keep their guys in fighting shape for when shit really goes down. And so
all right.
the people that they're shaking down weekly, that's their exercise routine to make sure that they can still fight.
Huh. That's an interesting theory.
Okay. Maybe Jackie should make a documentary about bookies and loan sharks.
Be like, do you still got it, Frank? Can you still curb somebody? Like in the good old days? Or have you lost your stomach for it? Get out there.
Curb somebody like their wheels?
No, that's when you put somebody's mouth over the side of a...
That's curb stomping.
Yes.
I don't think you know shit.
Hey, this is my goddamn documentary. You shut up. You didn't even know about the limits.
Sir, are you doing a lot of curbing these days?
All right. Benny, you need to go put Steve on the knuckle sandwich diet, if you know what I mean.
Put them all in the fridge.
You need to go give him a meat pack.
Yeah, right.
No, the meat pack is in Carradine's pants.
He wears mushy rain shoes. He sleeps with the octopuses.
Luca Prazzi sings with the fishes.
Tenor. He did tenor, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, Benny's Lester's like, no, you're no good for it. Blah blah blah. And then we get the rules about the bomb, and still Lester's like, no, I'm not giving you any money because you just like whatever. You're an idiot. So. Meanwhile, we forgot to mention the German guy. I'm not even sure what his name is, but he's driving a yellow Pantera, and he's passing everybody, and they're like, whoa, look at that guy go. And he's like, the American cause of crap. And
he talks to himself a lot about, like...
A lot.
I just think if Hitler would have won, this would have been homeland, part of the homeland.
Which is crap. That's so fucking racist. You know how much in 1976, the German people, like, they weren't...
It was an unhappy place.
Yeah, they weren't down with Hitler. Like, that's not cool, man.
Yeah, you notice that they don't have a Disneyland in Germany.
What does that have to do with Hitler?
What?
Because they're unhappy.
Okay. Also, why is this guy driving
I don't think they like bullshit. I think it's... Here in Germany, we do not like the bullshit. No, like, Jackie, that has nothing to do with anything. Those people were mortified afterwards that Hitler was even a thing. They banned like free speech. We live in a Western democracy. Not in Germany. You can't say shit. Like, no Heil Hitler, no fucking swastikas. They will fucking cut your balls off. I mean, it's just like, oh, the Germans love Hitler. Said this movie's script, Don Simpson. Fuck off, Don
Simpson.
Those people were crushed under boot, man. Have some respect.
That's how I feel.
He only has respect for cocaine.
All right.
Speaking of going a bad way, he died of constipation. He did. He was trying to shit so hard his heart burst.
Holy Jesus.
After he couldn't screw a couple hookers because he was all stoved up on cocaine. Hell of a way to go, Don Simpson.
All right. Me also the Lincoln guy, the valet, is pulling up to the ladies in the van and being like, "Hey, ladies, how you doing?" And they're like, "Fuck off, get off the road." Hey, what? Rude. And he catches up to Coy, or Redmond catches up to Coy, runs him off the road, rams him off the road. Like, this is a reoccurring thing. Everybody's getting ran off the road in this movie.
Yeah, it's a demolition derby, not a race that would be run conventionally where you wouldn't really pass each other except for fuel stops.
Yeah, exactly. But that causes Coy to be like, all right, maybe this car ride's a little too dangerous for Linda. Zippo, can you come over here? Linda, you ride with Zippo. That'll be safe. Because they're not gunning for the car. They're gunning for me.
And he's dressed exactly like me, and he's not as good of a driver, so get in his car. Confusion.
Yeah, be safer. Yep.
Yeah, this was like, no, buddy, they're all trying to win $100,000. They don't give a fuck who they have to run off the road. So he's just an egomaniac at this point. His shirt's unbuttoned. He's letting his flabby body fly. You know, he's trying to pull off the sex, and I'm like, no, The only thing you've got is meat package in the front that I'm kind of interested if your pants are going to burst at any point in time during this movie.
Sam, do you find it weird that she likes Chris Christopherson and Sam Elliott, but she doesn't like David Carradine?
Chris Christopherson has more defined shoulders.
Okay,
they're both a lot more built.
All three of them are gross.
David Carradine's
they're all
really
gross.
scrawny though.
He's gross.
Yeah, but they're all gross, right? Okay, I'm just saying, like, if she's liking those two,
and they like have a walk at least. They have some like swagger. He just kind of like just squirms around on screen without his shirt on, and you're like, "What are you doing? That's weird." And his shirt just disappears and reappears for the rest of the fucking movie.
Yep, that is true.
All right, so the ladies in the van. Lincoln Continental guy catches up to them again, and they're like, okay, let's get it this time. So one of them takes off her bra, and it's like, you want this? You want this? And he's like, oh, I love bras.
Crash.
What? Yeah, no, they spray him with the fire extinguisher, and he crashes.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
But, like, give me that bra.
Like, fuck the bra. Just throw it out of the car now so you can never put it back on again.
Do you see, I mean, like, do you like bras or boobs?
Yeah.
Because you're not getting boobs with the bra.
Get the bra. The goods are no longer inside of it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's worth crashing the car for because he just kind of, yeah. Meanwhile, Stallone enters the film by having some KFC with the director. And I thought he was going to do more because he appears to be a hencher, but then he disappears.
This was interesting because Martin Scorsese has more dialogue in this scene than he has in most of his on-screen appearances. It's like,
right,
this is the one, Martin? All right. Everybody loves Paul. That's the thing. Everybody loves Paul.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Wait, that was
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah,
the guy with the other guy with the black hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Paul Bartel was the second unit director on Boxcar Bertha. Is that the one that Scorsese did, or Big Bad Mama? Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so the Pantera, after passing everybody, he gets a cop on his tail. He's still cruising around, driving fast, talking to himself. The cop gets on his tail, can't catch up, so he raises up to his buddy ahead. And he's like, you got to block him. So a cop gets in front of him to slow him down. But the guy's like, haha, you don't know my secret weapon. When I go very fast, you also go very fast. And then I blow up.
And then I am confused because I clearly saw the whatever bomb put on the Camaro, not on
the
German guys. Was that a Lambo, right? No, it was a Pantera.
No, it's a Pantera.
Which, I mean, that was the other part. I was like, a German is entering the race in the only car that won't make it all the way there without replacing 6 parts. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
he would be in a Mercedes. He would be in a car that would at least make it all the way there without 3 to 4 part replacements.
Yeah, no shit. He's talking shit about American cars the whole time. It's like, dude, that's an Italian. I mean, the brand is Italian. Yeah. They were partnered with Ford throughout the entire project.
That is the one Italian supercar of the era that is just undrivable due to part failure.
Right, but still, like, who are you to talk shit? I'm driving a car with an American engine. Yeah. It's crap.
Driving a crappy Lambo with a 351 in it. Oh, right. I'm worried. They sound great. Because it's the Roush firing order, right?
Right. So, yeah, he hits 160 miles an hour and explodes. He's dead, which I was really disappointed because I thought that, like, there might be, like, a Redman, Carradine, like, come to an understanding, and it turned out the whole time the German was the bad guy.
I think that was what I was looking for, too, is that they were going to be, like, NASCARing out, and then F1 was going to blow by them like they weren't there, and they're going to like, oh shit, we actually have to drive now and just end all of this monkey business.
Right.
But meanwhile, the brother is watching the race, He's apparently he's flat broke because he put all of his money into this, betting on this race, the brother of Carradine, right? But yet he's having them followed by a helicopter and he's flying to different destinations. And I'm like, why are you flying to like Arizona next? To get an update?
Yeah.
Because of his dubious sabotage plan.
Yeah. Well, here, like, not very long after, okay, so Redmond shoots out Coy's tires and leaves him by the highway, and the thing that he threw out of the car was his jack.
Yeah.
And so he has to back the car up on a guardrail to change his back tire, but he gets it done.
Which was pretty ingenious.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Then, what's his name? Bennie hires a fake cop to pull over the decoy, because he knows there's a decoy, but he doesn't tell the cop anything, the fake cop anything about that. He's just like, pull over this car. Like, he's left his own sabotage to the toss of a coin. 50-50 chance this guy gets it right. I'm good with that. Yeah. How about Redmond? Like, pull over the black Dodge Charger. That's the one we want to get.
Now,
slow him down.
That guy's too crazy. He knows his fake cop friend is going to get either killed or the shit kicked out of him.
Pull over the lady filled with fans.
So,
pull over that Chevy Blazer that we all think is still in this race.
No, he knows that the lady
pull
van
over the car
isn't going
that looks like my car.
Work on this guy because he's just going to hop in the back and get blown up and down the road for 20 miles.
See, you're starting to make
sense
of Dick Miller's plan that doesn't make any sense. I think
that's the problem, is that he's factored in all of these minor circumstances that won't work, but has left the major circumstance that might not work completely to chance.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And it's the guy in the black Camaro. Is he the same one from Gator?
That's a Charger.
Yeah, it's a Charger.
But it's not the same.
You're doing good today,
It's not the same actor?
No.
No, that's Bill McKinney from a bunch. Yeah. Any Which Way But Loose.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Carradine kung fu's him, uses his cane skills.
Oh my God.
This was like an old... This was bad.
This was like...
It is bad.
A really out of shape dude trying to kick dance his way through it.
He was
let's have a dance off.
Him. He was foot rubbing him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was only foot rubbing. He wasn't throwing punches. I wanted to stop the movie and put in a Shaw Brothers movie just to get it out of my brain.
All right, so then Coy catches up to Redmond. He sees him getting gas and beer, and he walks into the grocery store where he's standing there drinking beer at the counter, and they just kind of stink eye each other. And then it turns into a whole, tear the store apart thing. Fist fight.
They just tore the store apart. They didn't even do a good job fighting each other. They just fuck everything up. And then Cade goes out and kicks out David Carradine's headlights, which
Hold on. You gotta break this down a little bit. A trained henchman was just kung fu'd by Coy. So clearly he's the superior fighter to Redmond, who doesn't know any kung fu. But you know what? How Redmond defeats him? Soap.
No, he soaps
him in the eye.
You trained henchmen, karate guys, those NASCAR boys can throw a fucking punch.
He gets him with the soap, and he does the whole pillow thing and Naked Gun, ah! My face! Ah!
Meanwhile,
not dish soap.
Redmond has grabbed his 24-pack of beer and is back on the road.
Right? I kicked his lights out, and which it doesn't ever come into play.
It doesn't. It makes no sense. I'm going to skip ahead because we're still only halfway through this thing. So, since he's kicked his headlights out, he's then instilled a crippling depression on Coy, who is driving and just leans back and stares at the roof and goes, I don't have any headlights, and then crashes the piss out of his own car in the middle of the day.
He turns it over. And we're only halfway through the fucking movie. I'm like, wait, what? No.
What the fuck just happened?
You can't crash the hero car. Are you kidding me? And so then he just throws this kind of poopy tantrum and walks away.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I'm an idiot. Meanwhile, the ladies, they've gotten pulled over. and a couple cops. And so they use the honeypot trap. They bring them into the van for an orgy, and they tow the cop car behind the van along the way. Like, say this goes right. What's the end game? Like, how do they, like, bang these guys so hard that they just kind of push them out?
They bang them all the way back to the station, and they're set free with a warning.
No, you can't go to the station. You're in a damn race, Sam.
But if it's in the right direction.
No, you don't even have time to.
All right, so here's what you do. You bang them all the way to the county line, and you drop them off there.
Okay, county line. That works for me. Just kind of, oh, I can't move. And like, you ate too much pork and you pork.
Yeah, and you're pork.
And they just kind of push them out the side of the sliding van.
He ate too many
suck
burgers.
their brains out through their dicks, and they leave them on the side of the road.
God. Don't, Jackie.
What? I missed that.
They ate too many fur burgers. Hey, they use the term in the movie. I'm just regurgitating what I heard.
Oh,
true.
A little 70s pizzazz there for you guys.
All right, so Coy gets his car towed to the junkyard where a couple fanboys are at, and they're like, dude, give us the pink slip on this one. You can have our fucking Mustang race car.
And he's like, you shitheads don't know fucking, oh my God, what is under the hood of this thing? And they're like, Herspers!
Herspers! Did you notice that the ignition coil was either a Budweiser can, or maybe at one point in the 70s, because America, they were selling ignition coils that were painted like Budweiser cans?
Maybe. I mean,
it was awesome. Go back and freeze frame it. There's a freaking Budweiser can that's got a giant cord that goes to the distributor coming out of it. I was like, I want a Budweiser can in my ignition coil. I don't have a car that's got an ignition coil. Damn it.
Damn, that's awesome.
I was bitching.
This is my, if I was getting a Mustang, it's this fucking one right here. This Mustang is fucking awesome.
I probably do that. I'm sticking with the 302, the Boss 302. I sure do like the
351 Mach 1 is my baby.
Yeah.
It was faster.
It's true. Mach 1s are pretty sweet. Okay, so anyways, the Lincoln guy, while the ladies are towing this cop car down the road, he pulls up, starts seeing sweaty Kate Winslet palms against the window of the car, and he's like, oh no, you don't bang Jack in my house. And so he pulls up next to the cop car and chucks like 6 cans of gasoline into the damn thing, and then the cigarette lighter from his car.
And blows it the fuck up.
Blows it the hell up. And the ladies don't even react, really. They just pull over, somehow disconnect the tow hitch.
Oh, I think the car just burned off of it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, the cops are like, oh, it was our car. And they just boots and asses. See you later.
Those tow hitches are only rated up to about 3,000 degrees.
Yeah. And the police are like, how are we going to explain this? And they're like, what state are we in? It'll be easily explainable. We're in the Midwest. We go back and tell our boss that the honeypots blew us until our car got blown up. And he's like, God, that's the 3rd time this week, boys.
Okay. God, I just don't care about the guitar guy and the mom.
He sucks. His most relevant thing was the jack off to get his horse started.
Right. Meanwhile, though, Redmond calls in his militia. He calls in a roadblock of dirt bikers. These guys are tough. Guys on dirt bikes. They're
like, we're going to get him. And he's like, I will not mention that he used to race NASCAR. Because if I mention that, you'll be like, that guy's going to punch us in the face. No.
Like, if you're in a movie and you're in a city like action sequence and you've got a dirt bike gang and they're doing that and they jumping over stuff and like, somebody kicks one midair off of a guy and they've got Uzis and stuff like that. That's cool. But rednecks on dirt bikes are not scary to me.
These aren't even rednecks on dirt bikes. These are teenagers on 125s.
No, the one guy had one of those like Boston, not a Boston, but Boston. He's wearing blue. One of those like Confederate commander hats, with the little like bolo tie at the top of it.
But he was riding a 125.
Like, right. We got to get them, N-words. That's what the other thing that they do is they burn crosses.
Yeah. We'll never catch him on a 125.
Do heel clickers, I guess.
I don't know 120. Actually, you can do a heel clicker. People do some pretty impressive stuff on a 125.
Like a fat guy in the back of a K5 Blazer that doesn't have a top on it, that's got a rifle. That's scary to me. A fat guy on a freaking dirt bike it's actually kind of comedic gold.
It is comedy gold. The engine can barely push his fat ass around.
It's like the clowns in the car. Like, I can't take you seriously. I don't care if you want to burn down America. You're hilarious.
Yeah, he sits on it and it rubs the fender, and that's where the burp comes from. His brap is mostly tires rubbing fender.
I don't know. I think it's a terrible gang, these guys.
They get the shit kicked out. I'm skipping ahead.
They get the shit kicked out of them by a parole
officer. The lady cop
officer.
beats the living shit.
She's not even a cop, Sam. She's a parole officer. Get it right.
So in the dialogue, she's actually a cop, but she's in charge of his parole or something. Like, she's taking over.
Her badge says parole officer
You
on
don't even
it says correction officer.
Oh my God.
She's
they
not a
all
cop.
get beat up by a prison guard.
Yep. That's right. These guys suck.
These guys suck.
Which makes Zippo suck even more because he gets his ass kicked by them.
Right after he tells her the story of like how close of friends, like first time I got laid, he was there. He was able to fit his belt around the rear view mirror and watch us.
Ew.
So did he come or what?
Okay, so then Coy pulls up. He rams Redmond off the road and pulls out to the other two. And this doesn't pay off either. I mean, it's really weird because the last guy, the only guy that Coy punches out of this group, like kind of like goes, ow, my face, and then crawls away underneath the back of the Mustang and punches a hole in the gas tank, I guess. And Coy's like, don't worry about it. You guys go on without me. I'll catch up. I'll fix a hole in my gas tank. And he reaches in and grabs what appears to be a bar of soap. Sam, you got anything here?
I don't.
I don't either.
If he had gum maybe?
Gum maybe. Like, how
Problem
big is
is
this hole?
that there's gas coming out of it. Gas is so solvent that you'd got to get it cleaned off with like alcohol to make something stick again, right?
I don't think you can fix a gas tank on the side of the road.
Duct
I think
tape.
you're done. Even then, that's dangerous, man. Like,
You got to let it
gotta really
drain
seal
out,
that shit.
clean it off, do whatever you're going to do, fill it back
Soap?
up.
No, you don't.
So maybe he gets the
He's
soap
beat-
out
There's all
because
these
he's going to
beat up
lay.
things, and what happens is he's got the soap out, and what you don't see is there's a guy on the other side of the tire. He soaps up his wiener, right, so that it fits through the hole. Chops it off. shoves
Okay,
it into the
Sam.
gas.
Back to actual mechanical theory. What's he doing with the soap?
Maybe he's going to take a bath in the gasoline that's leaking out of the car.
I like my theory better.
Okay, all right. So
He needs to take a
fixes
bath.
his car somehow.
Like, even
Yeah,
when he
needs to take
first
a
gets
bath.
up, the first time you see him, like, you should take a bath. You look bad.
Meanwhile, the Corvette, it's got a bad fan belt. We never even mentioned, and they've been trying to dick with this fan belt for
Here's
the
the
last
deal.
200 miles.
You know how long that series of Corvette will go without the fan running?
None.
4 minutes before both the head gaskets explode.
Yeah, right.
They will not,
Well,
without that fan going, the radiator cannot get
they're like-
cool. That is a
So
hot running car.
Here's the thing. They say the fan belt's going out, Sam.
Then it would be squeaking.
No.
WD-40 will fix that for the miles you need to make.
No, you can't put WD-40. Are you kidding me? No, you put talcum powder on that. WD-40 is actually really sticky. You can't put WD-40 on your belts. You nutty?
If you're
Jesus
not going
Christ,
to use
man.
that belt ever again, and you need to get from where you're at, make
Talcum
sure.
powder.
That'll make it stop squeaking. The WD-40 will actually get into the belt, and it'll give it a little bit more life where it doesn't snap.
Abrasive. It's an abrasive.
No, it actually has
sucking dirt right into it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You got your way, I got mine.
For taking bolts off.
Also, like, you might have WD-40 in the car. What do you got talcum powder for? Your ass is getting too sweaty in the seat? Okay, that
it's
is
the 70s,
I just
man.
answered my own question.
Right. I mean, you don't?
Gold Bond.
It feels nice.
Yeah.
It always feels. Name a time where you had talcum powder on your body and you were like, eh.
I've never put talcum powder on my body. I think about it. I'm like,
gotta start.
Eh.
It's nice. It's very nice.
You know what they could have done is just taken off one of her stockings, tied it into the shape of the belt, and made it last.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. All right. Sure. A AAA.
Whatever, dude.
No, you can't.
So is it?
You cannot.
You just get to a certain point in your life, and you're like, talcum powder goes here, icy hot goes here.
Right. Yep. You know when you have corduroys on and your legs just go whip whenever you're walking around. You put some talcum powder. It's a well-oiled machine down there from now on.
Okay.
Jackie, where you at on the talcum powder?
I think the most disgusting thing I've ever seen involved talcum powder, and that was a very large woman who had it all over her feet. And all I could think was she just kind of shoved it near her crotch, squeezed it so it kind of went everywhere, and then just let it drip all over her feet and didn't clean it off. And it was just gross.
That was the remnants. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the Corvette pulls into this parking lot to just bust into whatever Chevy that has the same fan belt. I guess that they are clever enough to know what that is, and steal one out of a car, which without taking the fan clutch off, they just like, oh, hey, here's a fan belt. Whoop. Cops pull up. They're like, why are you breaking into this car? And he's like, oh, the battery's dead. He's like, well, here, let me help you pop that. Oh, okay. You guys seem like on the up and up. So they just like teleport the fan belt off and then teleport it onto the other car. And then the cop turns around.
He's like, wait a second.
Oh, hey.
That seems fishy because he has no reason to think that something else has happened.
Nothing. He would have drove off, never looked in his rear.
This is my favorite part. Well, it's not. It might be, actually. This might be my favorite part. Robert Carradine is like, his girlfriend's like, what are we going to do? He's like, you're going to drive. And she's like, okay, what? And then he gets the cop to chase him out of the car, hides behind a car that's like 4 feet from where this chase started.
Right.
The police officer becomes disoriented. He's like, where did he go? He's behind. I don't see him anymore. I am an infant. I do not have object permanence. This game of peekaboo has busted my brain. And then he runs out from behind the car, gets in the cop's car, and then they both drive off. And he's like, I've been foiled again by my own lack of object permanence. What happened to him after he was behind that car?
Right, and so the guy checks the cop car keys, and he runs up to the cop car, and he tries to start it without the keys. He's like, I can't start it without the keys, and then just starts looking on the ground for the keys, which is not where he saw him throw them, and then never bothers to dispatch. Said Grand Theft Auto guy.
Yeah. He didn't want to get
silver
on the
Corvette.
He was reluctant to get on the radio and go, 2 teenagers just busted my ass stealing a fan belt. I need backup on this one.
You probably would. You'd take a lot of shit in the locker room later.
A lot of shit. He's like, I'm just going to go get some coffee and not talk about this one ever. Been a good day up until now. We're going to forget about this. Going to be a good day from here on out.
All right, so Redman, he finally kicks the guitar guy and his mom out of the car. Yay, that joke was really dumb and didn't work for me ever.
But weren't you glad, though, that they got out of the movie? Like, you don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
right, really.
I was like, yes, that means we don't have to have this weird, like, dime store cowboy hat bullshit where his mom made all of his clothes and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I was just glad when those two characters were out. I kind of liked the mom, but I would have liked it more if she would have just been a sugar lady that was bankrolling it without the son. And he would have been like, I just think it would have been funny.
It would have been more interesting to me if he also had to bang the lady to get all this to happen. And so it was like a sugar mama and son situation that would have worked for me better. And their exit of the movie would have worked for me better had it been a fiery, grim death.
Like, boy, your mama sure do love your education type thing. Like Forrest Gump, like that?
Kind of.
She's doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I would have liked it, actually, if she had been, like, even more old lady-ish and, like old lady gags, like she's doing knitting in the back, and he's like, he gets ran off the road and starts, bouncing in the dirt, and she's still trying to do her cross stitching.
Yeah.
And then eventually, he says something, he does a crime, and so she starts beating him with her purse while he's trying to hot dog drive away, and somehow the hood flies up, because the hood should always fly up.
I think you have it. Out of the three of us, yours is the best.
Yeah, she was too boring.
And he should have been Terry Bradshaw.
Right, he should have been Terry Bradshaw. So anyways, he chases Coy into a construction site, and the bridge isn't finished. They end up on the ramp to the interstate, and the bus is going 55, and if it goes under 55, it will blow up, so they have to jump it. Everybody get to the front of the bus, because I swear to God, this is the same unfinished freeway as Speed.
Project.
Isn't it?
It's been sitting there.
Isn't that a Don Simpson movie?
I don't think Speed was Don Simpson, was it?
I can't remember. I don't know, but it's great. But it just looks the exact same. It's like the same distance. Like, we gotta jump it.
Yeah, I like this. This actually is one of the only things it doesn't work. Oh my God,
it looks so
the
bad,
though.
Is awful. Oh, right. Just do it, guys. If you're gonna do it, do it. It's just a stunt car.
For $780,000.
Freaking RC unit. Get a guy and wire it up. And they crashed so many cars in this goddamn Sam.
I don't think they did, Justin, because I watched all the way to the end of the credits. A little spoiler alert. Shaw Brothers, I mentioned them earlier specifically for this. Mm-hmm. Shaw Brothers had a credit in this. I think that car crash was remotely done in Hong Kong. I couldn't verify any of this, but why the fuck else would they be on the credit list?
Let's get there. Coy turns around. He's getting shot at Redman, and he jumps it. He just flies across in this. He gets up to like 120 or something like that, and clears what are we thinking, like 100 feet?
50 feet. Let's call it 50. Let's just be conservative and say 50 feet in
without
a car that weighs
without a ramp.
6,000 pounds?
Like when that bus hits that same thing, it goes up a little, little ramp.
There's a little kicker made of tarp that they show. So it's like, oh, it's going to hit that and it'll go up. And he makes the jump. And it's fun because like, Cade's like, oh, I got him now. And then halfway through, he's like, I don't really know what he's doing. Oh my God, the bridge is out. Mm-hmm. And then he dies.
Well, he does not make it. He tries to gun it so he can make it, but the guitar head is stuck. And so it's underneath the gas pedal. So he can't accelerate as much as he needs to. And he can't brake enough to stop himself. So he ends up falling off. He's going to die either way.
His hatred of music killed him.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to you.
Let that be a lesson to you.
You, the town of Footloose. If you don't like it, you're going to die.
In fire.
So Redman's dead, and Coy jumps over the thing, skid slides sideways across the finish line, and everybody else in the race rushes up and hugs him, and they're like, yeah, you won, dude. And he high-fives Linda, and they kiss, and he's like, how about we get that sailboat now? And they float away into the sunset, because that's where the movie should have ended. It doesn't end here.
The
bad guy's defeated. The big climactic stunt has happened, and there's still like another 30 minutes of this movie. What the hell?
And at this point, I'm going to be honest. Until this jump happens, I am very confused, but even more bored with this movie.
Okay, all right, well.
In the jump, things start happening.
Well, now some assassins involved.
It's the same henchman from before.
What henchman?
The guy that motorcycle cop guy.
Foot rubbed to the ground.
What the hell, Benny? Who are you hiring?
I don't know.
Kill my brother's best friend. That's what I need to have happen right here?
Because he's being stupid.
He is dumb.
The dubious plan of the decoy car was dubious enough as it is, but now to be like, I gotta make extra certain, so kill the decoy car that would win in either event? You got a 2-for-1. The deck's loaded. Don't fuck it up. And he's like, I'm gonna fuck it up.
I fucked it up. I'm gonna fuck it up. So yeah, he fucking shoots Zippo right in the fucking head. The car crashed. Fortunately, Zippo was kind enough on his way to die, slowed down from 120 to about 5 miles an hour so that Linda could be like, oh,
no, it was still going 80 and she ended up in the hospital.
She's dead if it's going 80, Sam. She's dead as shit. If it's going 30, she's dead as shit. You got to slow down to about 15 for a person to flop out of the side of the car.
I knew a gal that went out of the back of a pickup at 30 and she was fine. She wasn't fine. She was not happy about it, but she didn't even go to the hospital. She's just fucked up pretty good, but it was all total recovery. Like, didn't go to the hospital, raspberries everywhere.
That's okay, all right. But not 80.
No.
Not 80. You're dead.
Maybe. It just depends.
No, it doesn't depend. If you have, it's just simple physics, Sam. God damn it. If you're going 80 and you hit the ground, it's like hitting a wall at 80.
No, Jonathan lost his bike at 60 and starfished off the exit ramp and walked away from it. So,
Jonathan.
I can't use last names, but our friend Troy's brother, Jonathan.
No, he did. He was wearing leather and protective gear. He was wearing protective gear, but she's wearing a sundress.
She's got a badge to protect her, goddammit, from the corrections facility.
She's not okay, man. She's in a whole skin suit.
They were going around a corner, like maybe they were going 50. I don't know, but she's in the hospital and we had like a full body cast later, so she's not doing okay.
And then the Lincoln's like, whoa, I was just here to hit on ladies. There's an assassin. He clips the car that the assassin's underneath, which causes the car to drop off its jack, which seems like, why would you crawl under to be an assassin? Like, you jack up a car, and then I'm going to hide under it. It's very weird assassinating. And he gets smashed to death, and you get some nice orange Corman blood.
Yeah.
Well, then the Corvette pulls up, and they pick up Linda, and they're like, Jesus, we got to take her to the hospital. So they take her to the hospital, and
then they're like, look, there's nothing else you can do for her. You need to just go home. And he's talking about running for governor or some shit. And she's like, look, nobody's going to vote for a governor that didn't finish the race. So he goes over to the doctor, and he's like, hey, can I get a little something so I can stay up for the next couple hours? And then we cut to them driving.
No, we cut to
more crashing.
So we cut from Jackie. So
are we still in the crash?
The crash is like 38 minutes long.
The Corvette picks up Linda and is like, hey, we got to get her out. They carry her into the car and kind of set her in the passenger seat while the lady sits kind of weird, uncomfortable because it's a 2-seater, and they drive away. Then a van full of mannequins crashes. Yeah, then we go to the hospital. Then they have that dialogue, which would take about 30 minutes. Like, give them the benefit of the doubt because they're hauling ass. Just say 30 minutes to an hour that she's been in the hospital. Then we cut back to the traffic scene.
So, but when they're leaving, she's like, we can't move her. And they're like, well, we have to. We have to get her to the hospital. And then his girlfriend again's like, I think we're causing a pileup. And he's like, don't worry about those dead people. We can save this one. We got to keep going. And then they get her to the hospital. He asks the doctor for some speed. And the doctor's like, oh, sure, this is the 70s. Here's a whole fucking bag of it.
Got some in my pocket.
And then they cut
expect
back
me to be a doctor or not on speed?
to this crash that has been continually going for an hour. There's fire and bodies everywhere. Cars are piling up. It
is a nightmare scenario for the public safety board that was in charge of putting seatbelts in cars, and whoever that organization was that Ralph Nader said, we're not going to do these piece of crap unsafe cars anymore. This is like, Ralph Nader sees this and it's like, Jesus Christ.
And then all of a sudden men like Stan, the man chucking man, are hired in transportation scenarios where they're like, we need to nip this on the bud. How serious are you about this?
These people
Stan?
cannot stop.
No.
They cannot stop.
They're like,
I mean, this isn't like on a blind corner. This is in the middle of the damn fucking whatever freeways are in New York outside, because
this has got to be closer to, we got to be to like Phoenix now or something, or some major city.
Phoenix?
They wouldn't go to Phoenix.
The movie's almost over. Over. They're next to New York.
Oh, yeah, they're going the other way.
Pittsburgh.
They're going I keep forgetting that they did it backwards for whatever, like to keep it secret and keep it safe.
Right.
So, yeah, they're like in fucking Baltimore or some shit.
Yeah. And then the ladies in the van pull up, and this I love. They're like, holy crap, look at all this traffic, this carnage on the road. And so they start weaving through it. Meanwhile, we're still hearing cars crashing ahead of them, which means that they were able to be like, oh, we've got to be careful in this terrible scenario. And people are just like, they're
like, fuck the man.
I can't drive
55. People are passing Cannonball runners
to crash and die in fire.
It's nuts. All right. So we're at the finish line, and the Chevy Blazer guy pulls up because he's been having an affair the entire time with Tits McGee. Mm-hmm. And he pulls in first, and they're like, "Yeah, you won." And honey, break out the champagne, and she's like, "Oh no, I left it in the plane."
And then she looks right at the officials like, "Yeah, he cheated.
Get it?
Look at his fat ass in this K5. He didn't fucking make it. Not even a bug on the windshield, you dipshits."
That he doesn't smell like a garbage can. That was the other indicator.
You will smell like a garbage can if you do this.
After you've been in your car for 2 days, you're gonna smell like rotten trash. There is no and like crotch rot.
It's actually a very musty and congealed blend of beef jerky and BO by the time you get out of the car.
All right, everybody's in NYC now. That's who's left or alive, whatever. Lester and Bennie, they pull up to the finish line, and the ladies, they're trying to weave through traffic, but they pull into an alley, and somebody pulls out in front of them. They crash. They're done. So then Coy crosses the line. He's arguably the first, and he's walking out of the car, and everybody's like, "How'd you avoid the pileup?" And he's like, "What pileup?" And Betty's like, "Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that." And he's walking up to I guess you got to stamp a ticket.
Yeah, you punch your time card to get the official time.
Punch your time card, and he's like, "Wait a minute, what's this about? Where's Linda?" And Benny's like, "Well, don't worry about her. No, Linda's in the hospital, McCoy." And he's like, "I got to get out of here." And Coy's like, "Damn it, I'm a dead man." And Lester points at his goons and says, "Get back in the limo, Benny."
Yeah. And then the racing team owner is like, "Don't worry. I don't care whether you punch the card or not. I know you won the race, and you're going to be on my team.
You're a stand-up guy.
I'll take you to the hospital. And I own such a nice racing team that I'm taking you to the hospital in my own personal 3 Series BMW."
No, that's not a 3 Series. That's a 2002 CSL, man. Those things are bitchin'.
Okay.
Those are the
Those are the ones.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're not even a CSL. They're just a BMW That's a BMW 2002.
Okay.
It's the worst freaking name for a car. It's a BMW 2002. Is it? So it's a 2002 BMW?
No, it's not.
No, it's a BMW 2002.
So it was the same platform as the E whatever, and it is the nicer one of those.
No.
It was the pre-E.
That's the rally. That's the rally car.
Yeah.
That's the one they won all the championships on.
So it's an E series. I'm still dubious on the E series as a daily driver.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the Merc equivalent. Yeah, right. Okay. So who comes up next? Somebody pulls up with the ticket.
Oh, no,
wins.
Robert Carradine wins.
Oh, the Corvette. Yeah, they come back.
They
punch
won?
their ticket. He's the mayor.
Because they were traveling do-gooders, other than that point where they killed all those people by leaving the scene of a crime. And then doing speed afterwards.
And then Coy goes into the hospital. He finds Linda, and they give the thumb up kiss to each other. And she's like, but what about my hospital bills? This is
And that's when he goes,
I'm
shit,
pretty fucked up.
I should have punched the ticket.
Jesus, God damn it. That was $100,000. We're in debt for the rest of our lives,
No,
Linda.
he's got a career as a racing car driver again now.
I guess that's
Provided he crashes enough cars and punches enough guys out, he'll make it in 1970s NASCAR. And it looks like he's going to do it if he could just get over that only kicks thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Who wants to go first for questions?
So I've got one. Corvette couple. Do they go to Miami or do they go to Hawaii and buy a place?
Mm-hmm.
Do they
100,000.
do they split up? Like, what's the scenario there? Or does he run for like small time office?
Yeah, no. So I got the answer to this. What was the guy that got ousted on the recall election?
Jerry Brown?
No, it was the guy that got recalled, and Schwaz became the governor.
Oh, Marion Barry.
No,
I can't remember.
That's who this guy is. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that loses recall to Schwaz.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So he's in there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. This guy seems okay to me.
Still gets recalled to Schwaz. It's Schwaz.
Yeah, probably.
But he does make governor.
They're in Hawaii.
No,
I thought
Schwaz is like, I will move to Hawaii to crush you.
I am the multi-state governor. No,
he's like in
run for
Montecito,
California.
Yeah,
Montecito.
Yeah, they were going to run for governor in California eventually after he became
but then she says, let's buy a house in Hawaii.
No, she says
with
that first.
$100,000.
She says that first for the documentary, and then they're on the road, and he's like, hey, crazy idea. Wonder if I get into politics. And she's like, maybe you should start small, like dog catcher.
You can't. That's not where you start.
No, that's not going to get you anywhere. All right. How many people were killed in pileup?
73.
73 people. They say 17 people are in the hospital. How many people are not in the hospital?
73.
They're in the goddamn morgue. Yeah, 73. Because every single one of those cars exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. Repeated explosions.
The people,
because it was the same angle shot many times.
Yeah, the people that are in the hospital got hit by shrapnel, 100 yards off from where it happened. Everybody that was there, other than the honeypot van, died.
Yeah, no, real bad. Like, made Walter Cronkite was like, that's shitty. That's my Walter Cronkite.
Wait, no, that was Paul. No, they did. What's his name? The rest.
Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey.
And that's the rest of the story.
All died.
So I have a question. This is my only question. How bitchin' was that van?
Okay, well, that's my question. Which car in this movie would you like to own? Jackie, you go first.
Oh, man. I loved the coloring of the Trans Am, the Cannonball. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say, if I had to be in this race, I would go with the Corvette. I love that car.
No, not in this race. Just
in general,
which car do you love most?
I would get the Corvette.
That is a sexy looking Corvette. Mm-hmm. It is awkward as hell to drive. It doesn't go fast. It is so weird to drive because of how low the seat is. I thought about buying one of those, and I got in it once, and I was like, this is the weirdest car ever. Oh my God, it's so sexy on the outside, but so weird on the inside. You're sitting on the rear axle. It's like a whole fucking football field to the end of the car. And it doesn't fucking, like, the engine reports when you fire it up, and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be it. And you push the gas pedal, and you're like, that's it?
When does it start?
When does it go? You just have to mash it. You have to mash it, and you can get going pretty quick if you mash it, and you can actually watch the fuel gauge go down faster than the speedometer goes up when you mash it. But I would still own one.
Instead of like a Stingray, or like they should have named the C4s, because the C3s were Stingrays. Mm-hmm. They should have named the C4s a cool, clever nickname like that, like Wendigo. Wendigo.
When does it go? When does this car actually? It's making Wendigo. All of the noise. Why is it not going?
Wendigo.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I would have taken the silver Corvette as well. But Sam, you had some thoughts on the van?
I think it's a bitchin' van, but I already kind of answered this. That Mustang is what I would have.
Mustang, yeah. It's also good. Notice none of us said the fucking De Tomaso Pantera.
I don't like the parts counter that much. Sorry.
Parts counter. You mean tow it to the junkyard? Man, Panteras are.
That's what you can say about the Pantera, is that the current lot of Panteras that are for sale and are roadworthy are kit cars. The real ones never worked.
Okay, I'm done. Final recommendations? Jackie?
Don't.
Okay.
Watch Deathrace 2000.
Yeah, well, obviously.
It's the same movie, it's the same actors, and it's a whole hell of a lot more fun than this thing. I was bored for most of it. I was bored talking about it. And honestly, if we would not have started off with the killing yourself by jacking off in asphyxiation, this podcast probably wouldn't have as much juice as it did.
Shots fired. Sam.
51% do.
Okay.
It was. I do not agree. I do not disagree with what Jackie just said. I just think that the crappy mat work jump, a couple of weirdness, David Carradine just sucking so bad and being weird and waving his cock at the camera, and then the car crash that I'm accusing Shaw Brothers of performing was enough to get me just over the top.
I'm also gonna just barely give it a do. Actually, no, I'm not. I kind of liked it. I'm gonna jump it up a little bit more. I say it's a definite do. It's got historical value. It's got a cavalcade of people that are important in it. It does have some fun sequences. It's got some crap in it, but at the same time, like, there's just enough Corman business in it that it works for me. As opposed to oh god, I can't even think of the goddamn name. The Money Makes the World Go Round and We're All Boomers and We Talk Like a Bunch of Buttholes. The 70s movie, the other Corman movie that we just did not that long ago. That was a Jackie pick. Forget I said anything because I can't think of the goddamn movie name. Where it's just up its own ass. Yeah. This was never up its own ass and has a little bit of like a taste of things to come. There's a little bit of Smokey and the Bandit in this. There's a little bit of Cannonball Run, obviously. Yeah. There's just this is a front runner for everything that was better down the road. Yeah. And I think if those better things had never happened, this would be like a great follow-up to Deathrace 2000, because Deathrace 2000 is frankly a different movie. It's a dystopian PA movie. This is not. This is rednecking as it rednecks. So I still do think I enjoy it. I like it.
And maybe the moderate success of this does help sell those others that come afterwards. And in the first Cannonball Run, they did the ambulance, which is an homage to the original van or whatever. But so there's like this.
I don't want to talk about him.
We don't want to talk about him. But yeah, the spirit of this seems to travel a bit farther than its strength, and I think that most of what you like might not have been the Corman business and the Bartel business, but either way, they're, in bed together on the front end of the whole thing, so...
Right, which is impressive.
And a lot of both of what they do after they part company is because of their relationship together, and it's alive and well in this film.
It's almost like if Jaws was inspired by a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah.
Which isn't the thing. Jaws inspired a bunch of knockoff Jaws movies. This just usually doesn't go in this direction where we saw a corny, cheesy movie. You know another Paul Bartel project that blew my mind? Look this up. He was in as an actor. He wasn't involved, and I didn't dig very deep into this, but it's a 1974 30-minute short called Frankenweenie.
Yeah, Frankenweenie's fun.
What the hell, man? There's a live-action Frankenweenie from 1974, and Tim Burton's like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, aren't I creative and everybody respects me for my wacky creativeness? And you're like, dude, what? Paul Bartel?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Paul Bartel, I'll leave this didn't end up on the cutting room floor now. Probably, I have kind of assumed that Mary Woronov is his best friend. The last time he was seen on screen was the movie Perfect Fit, where him and Mary played husband and wife just called Mom and Dad. And that was the last time he was on screen before he died. So,
okay.
Yeah, Paul Bartel should be more celebrated. And that sort of like outside Hollywood, talented people, great friendship should be celebrated.
Like he never had Gremlins, but
Eating Raoul is widely regarded as a masterpiece.
It's not. Yeah, it's regarded, Sam, but it's not freaking Gremlins.
It made $10 million.
Kiss my ass. Of all the people that
Gremlins
made it out,
cost
Joe
more
Dante.
than $10 million.
I understand, but Joe Dante made it out. Paul Bartel should have had a look at it, like not with. It's widely respected, like a big deal.
He wasn't ever going to get a look at it.
He was fun. He's just as fun as Joe Dante.
Well, his best friend was a former Warhol girl, and he was openly gay when it wasn't okay.
There you go.
So
there you go.
He made the movies that he wanted to make, and he was happy with that. But yes, he should have had a look at it because his sexual orientation should have had nothing to do with his talent. Right. And his talent was massive.
We were robbed. We were robbed from Paul Bartel. All right, that's our show this week. And next week is Sam's pick. Sam?
This crash sequence has only whet my appetite for crashing, therefore, and because I've just found it recently available streaming. Because I wasn't going to make anybody pay for this. H.B. Halicki's Gone in 60 Seconds. The original. Okay. I will be watching my Blu-ray edition, but it is available for free with ads on Vudu or Tubi.
Okay, all right. Back-to-back car chase movies.
Hey, was that a stab at the fact that I made listeners pay 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You didn't make listeners pay. You gifted them with spending $4 on the greatest experience that film viewers could enjoy.
That's a lot of, man, that's high praise.
The shake, I bought it on fucking Blu-ray after I rented it. I just spent like $20 on that movie because it's a fucking, what a piece of work that thing is.
Fair enough. All right, we will be back in a week. Get to the chopper.